All right, let's go ahead and get started then. Good afternoon, everybody. We are here today to talk about Prospect Square. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Michael Wysocki. I am from Coldwell Banker Associated Brokers, and I help train all the agents on technology, Coldwell Banker tools, and things of the like. So, like I said, we're here today to talk about Prospect Square. There is a lot of content to pack in here on Prospect Square. So I may move somewhat quickly, but I can make this recording available later for all of you, just like I normally do. So at the end of it, I'll put my email in the chat and you can just shoot me an email and I will send you a copy of the recording so you can come back through it. You know, like I said, we're going to be moving through this pretty quickly today because there is a lot of content to cover in the next hour. So first things first, what is Prospect Square? So Prospect Square is a new tool that we got access to in December. So we've just had it for about 2 months now. And it is a program that will automatically email out market reports to your clients. That's the simple version. There's a little more to it than that. So, you know, people want to know, especially in this market, what their house is worth, what's going on in their community, their city, you know, where they live. They want to know what's going on in the real estate market. So this is a way that you can stay in touch with them that way. They also have a couple of additional email campaigns that they've added since they launched it in December that you can send out that aren't just specifically market related. So I'll cover that towards the end here. So first things first, when it comes to Prospect Square, to get into Prospect Square, you're going to be going to your CB desk, which is mycbdesk.com, and you're going to be logging in with your Coldwell Banker corporate credentials. So that's your first name dot last name at coldwellbanker.com, and then whatever that account password is that you set up when you made your account. It has to have a capital, lowercase, and a number, and it's the same thing that you're going to use to log into Zap. Back when we had CB Exchange before we migrated over to CB Desk, it's all the same account. So you should all hopefully know how to get into your account there. And then once you get into CB Desk, you're just going to look for the icon for Prospect Square. It's kind of like this little mail envelope icon with an @ symbol in it. So like it says there, automated email marketing for your sphere. And you'll just click on the picture there and it will open up a window that looks like this. And it will say, well, I opened it before noon, so it says, good morning, Michael. Should say good afternoon now when I reload the page. And then this is kind of your dashboard screen when you log in here. Now, like I said, I'll make this recording available at the end for everybody. But also, if you want to, you know, if you do better by, you know, having paper guides, you know, to thumb through or PDF to go through with it, they actually have on this home screen here, they have an agent guide here that you can print up or save to your desktop that will take you through everything that I'm covering here today too. Also a frequently asked questions and a video guide on how to do reports too. So if you are looking for some quick tips and don't have the full hour to watch a recording, that is available to you also. Now, the first time you go into your Prospect Square account, you definitely need to go in and update your agent profile. So that's going to be up here in the top right corner. And you're going to mouse over where it says, hi, Michael, or hi, your name in this case. And you're just going to click on this button that says my profile here. If you've never logged into Prospect Square, your picture may not be in here yet, but you will need to go in and fill out anything you see on this screen here. So it's going to have your name, your email, your website. That's going to fill in automatically from your corporate Coldwell Banker profile. However, if you go by a different given name or use a different email address that you want to use for your marketing or website, you can use this preferred email, preferred full name, preferred agent website to put in the contact information that works best for you. You also have the option to upload your agent photo. Remember, this information is going to show up in the reports that are going to be sent out to your client. This is going to show up at the bottom of it. So your contact info, your picture, your name, things like that. You can also link to your social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, things like that. It's automatically going to pull in also your office information. And then you can add in a bio here that will show up on some of your emails that are going to go out if people want to know more about you. And then you set your time zone. Obviously, I believe everybody here is on the West Coast on Pacific time. So you can set that and then put in designations. But the one other thing I want to show you here on your profile when you're creating it is you do have, as you're going to see in just a moment, you do have to add contacts in to here, just like you would with a CRM, or a database program. You're going to have to add in contacts, and so it knows who you're going to be emailing out to. You do have the option here that it says synchronize with. This is, like I said, this is about 7/8 of the way down your profile page here, okay? If you hit synchronize with Google, Outlook, or Office 365, so those of you with Coldwell Banker Associated Brokers, if you're using the company email, that's an Office 365 account. And if you click on that and then you hit save, the next time you log into Prospect Square, it's actually going to pull up the ability to log into your Office 365 or Google, your Gmail account, and it can pull over your contacts that way, which is going to save you quite a bit of time in terms of entering contacts if all of your contacts are saved in your address book in your Outlook account or your Gmail account or your Office 365 account. So that will help save you some time and make it a little bit easier for you if you do already have contacts saved there. There are other ways to upload contacts too, which I'll go over in a minute, but that is one of the quicker ways. John, I know I see your question here. I don't see a Prospect Square icon on my CV desk. Try logging out and logging back in. I know you just joined us this last week. If you're not seeing a link to Prospect Square on your CV desk account, try reloading your page there. It isn't going to be top front and center like it was on mine. I rearranged my icon to be front and center there because I'm teaching on Prospect Square fairly often now. So it may be buried in the icons there. You may have to click on, there's a button down here that says show all on your desk page, CV desk page. If it's still not showing up, you're going to need to reach out to the help desk at this number, this 877-426-5393 down at the bottom of the page, and they will help get it activated for you. So once you have your profile set up here, I'm going to show you, this is how we're going to go through things now. I'm going to show you how to add in contacts. I'm going to show you then how to set up reports and send them to those contacts. Because the first thing first is adding in all those contacts. So if you click on the contacts tab on the left-hand side here, you get the contacts page. I already have a bunch in here from when I synchronized my address book over. But you can always add in an individual contact one at a time by clicking on this new button here. So if I click on new, it just gives me the option to add them in, name. You can add in a lot of stuff other than just their email, their address, all those things. That's great, but you really just need first name, last name, email. That is the bare minimum here. Okay. So you just type in their information, you hit save, just like you would with, Zap or any other CRM program. You also have the ability here to import contacts. So if you have all your contacts saved in an existing CRM, Zap, Elevated Network, on the MLS, I know a lot of people who actually have a lot of contacts saved in their MLS for auto emails. You can actually import those contacts from a CSV file. That's the Excel spreadsheet with all the data from there. So you can just go to this import or export tab. You can click on import contacts, and then under please select the type of file you want to import. It's going to be a CSV file from any other source. Like I said, pretty much every single database program out there lets you export that data into a CSV file, and then you can upload it here. And then you'll just follow the prompts on the screen once you do upload that spreadsheet. Like I said, you are going to need to get contacts added in here so you can be sending out these automatic reports to your contacts, your automated email marketing. Can you export the contacts on your phone? Yes, you can get the contacts from your phone. Most of the time you do need to download an app from the App Store to do it. It just, everybody's contacts are saved differently in their phone. So depending on what your primary account is tied to it. So sometimes it's actually tied to your Gmail account already or your Office 365. So it may already actually be in there from when you add your contacts. It just has to do with the settings on your phone. But like I said, there's a lot of apps out there that are free that let you download your contacts into them, into a CSV file, and then email it to yourself. So I don't have a recommended program for that. It just, like I said, because everybody's phone and where their accounts are set up differently. Now, one of the other options you have here is to create groups. So you see there's a contacts tab and then there's a groups tab. It does make it easier to make a group to add your contacts into. So when you're sending out a report, you can pick a group of people. So you could break them down into, your A-list contacts, your B-list contacts. Another thing I would recommend is, as you're going to see, one of the ways that you can send out reports is based on a city by city basis. So it may be a good idea to set up your groups based on the individual city that that person lives or owns a property in. So I may separate, may want to consider separating out my Temecula contacts versus my Murrieta versus my Lake Elsinore, Menifee, Wildomar. Each city will have a different report that you can send out for that individual city. You could also even go further, break it down into an individual neighborhood too, when you can set up custom reports, which, like I said, I'll be getting into that here in about 5 minutes, going into the different kinds of reports. So you can make a group. Like I said, you just go to the groups tab, you can hit the new, and you can give it a name. Just give it a name of test, save. So you save the group name. And then you can see I have a group name test. And then I can add in contacts by pulling up that group. I went a little quick there. Let me go back. Once the group is in here, I can just click on the group name here. So I'm going to call it the test group. It opens up this group details page. And then there's a contacts button in here where I can add in contacts through here. I can actually use the find button to narrow it down through people, or I can actually just add in contacts manually this way. There's a number of ways that you can add the contacts in through the groups tab here. So that will make it easier for adding in those contacts into those reports. I'm going to delete this group here. And then they do have a search button, so you can search through your contacts or through your groups for contacts too. But now let's go to the actual meat and potato. Oh, Krista, to make a group, you just go to the groups tab. You click on, you click on the browse button on the groups. Then you just click on the new button here to make a new group, and you just have to give it a name. So then let's go over to the reports tab here. So under the reports tab for sending out our reports, there are 3 kinds of reports we can send out. There is a quarterly report, an area report, and a market report. Now you'll notice I said those in a different order than they appear on the screen. You see on the screen it goes area, market, quarterly. I'm going to actually go from broadest report to most specific report when I'm presenting here, okay? So I'm going to start with the quarterly report. So what is the quarterly report? The quarterly report is a report that goes out once a quarter. And this report is on a county by county basis, okay? So it's not specialized to a city or a neighborhood or anything like that. It's a once a quarter report that's going to go out on the 15th day of the new quarter automatically. So, just about 2 weeks into the new quarter, based on what happened in that last quarter in that market, in that county. So you'll notice I just clicked on the preview and share button. So for our company where we're located, we have set up Orange County, Riverside County, San Diego County, and San Bernardino County that we can send out reports on. And I'm going to pick on Riverside County here. And you'll notice next to Riverside County, when I click on this preview and share button here, just so you can see what the report looks like, I have this little kind of paper icon. And if I click on the paper icon, I can actually pull up and show you, hey, this is what the report looks like. This is a preview of it. So it says real estate report, Riverside County. You can see all my information's on the bottom here. So it's branded to me on this first page. And then it says, hey, number of sales went up 31%. New listings were down. The total number of listings were down, but the number of sales were up for both single families and condos, and our days on market went down. And then they have a bunch of stats broken down on a city by city basis for the whole county. So I can go and list every city one at a time. Aguanga, Anza, Banning, Beaumont, Bermuda Dunes, and so somebody can scroll to the city that they're interested in and get all of that data. And then down below, they have a bunch of graphs. So as you can see, as I'm scrolling here, there's actually a lot of data in here. So there's some good data for you to know as an agent too. So I would say recommend, for like the quarterly reports and the area reports, setting yourself up to receive these too, so you can be educated on what's going on the market in addition to what you're searching for on the MLS, because it's good to know just the general trends of what's going on in the area. And so as you can see, as I scroll down through here, as I get down to the bottom, it actually also has additional reports saying, hey, these are reports you can pull up for each individual city if you want to know more on each city, Anza, Banning, Beaumont, etc. Obviously, this is going to be listed alphabetically for each city in that county. Okay, so that's the preview of it. Now, one of the other things that they make it is on these quarterly reports, you can actually share these reports to social media. So you'll notice that there is a link here, a URL, this HTTPS link right next to it here. So this is my permanent link to the Riverside County quarterly report. So I could just take this link, copy and paste it, send it out to through an email, things like that. Janie, can I send out a report to a specific city? Yes, that's what we're going to cover next, is how to do city reports. Except I'm going from broadest to the most specific right now. So, but some of these things on the quarterly reports hold true for the city reports too. So that link is my permanent link to it. So I could take that link, send it in an email, text, post it to social media, anything like that. But if you're going to be posting it to social media, they actually make it even easier. So you'll see next to this URL, there is a kind of arrow triangle thing with 3 circles. That's our share button. And if I click on this share button here for Riverside County, you'll notice it pops up and it pulls up a number of social media sites that we can share it to right now very easily. You'll notice there's a link for Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Tumblr, Pinterest, Flip, Telegram, Slack, and WordPress. So I could just, if I wanted to share it to my Facebook page right now, I could just click on this Facebook share button, make my post there, hit share, didn't even have to copy and paste anything. It will just share it out through this link, and you just follow the prompts on the screen at that point. So they make it super easy to share this via social media. So, which is one of the things I love. And then even in the report too, when clients get the report, you can't see it in this preview as well, but you can see that there's a button to share it to Facebook. There's a button just to share it to their friends. They can print these as a PDF. They can do a number of things with them once they do receive it. So I'm going to go back to our Browse tab here on the quarterly report. Now, let's say I wanted to automate sending this out to my clients. I have a number of people who I want to be sending this out to. All I need to do is on this quarterly report screen here, you can actually see I have a sample quarterly report set to go to myself. But I go to this quarterly report screen. I can click on this new button here. And then I give it a title. So a report name, sample. I pick the contacts I want to use with it. Now, if I go in here and I just start typing the contact's name, it will show up in the list. The other option I could do is I could browse for contacts. I can hit the browse button, and then I could just go through and check the boxes next to the names of the people who I want to include. Or I could just check the box at the top of the screen to pick every single contact. So they do make it so you can easily mass add contacts in. So you don't necessarily need to do a group to do it. However, if you do have a group, it will show up in there. Then, so once you add in your contacts, so I'm just going to add myself in here as a sample here. So you'll see their name will show up above it. Then I pick the market area here. So which report do I want to be sending them? You hit the browse button here. I want to send out the Riverside County. So same thing, I pick the market area I want to send, click OK. Deanna, how do you choose the group? I made one and it's not showing up. So when you browse in here, you can search. If you go to the search button, and you can actually search by the group name.
I did.
So, and you may need to try reloading the page if you just made the group. So, did you just make the group just now?
Yes.
Okay, so you may need to reload the page. So, yeah.
Well, okay, so I made it back when you were showing us how to do the groups. So it's been 5 minutes, right?
Yeah. Sometimes when it's like it's a fresh group, I've noticed that you have to reload the page for it to work. So
okay, I'll let you know. Thank you.
That's it. And also, you should just be able to start typing the group name into the contacts area here, and it should show up in there too if it's working properly. So.
Thank you.
Okay. So, and then Janie, of course, it does not display the list of emails the report's going to. No, it's just going to show you the contact name of who it's going to. So, but when you're browsing, it will show you the email address when you are in here. Some of these contacts don't have emails in here. They're just phone numbers because I imported them from my Outlook account. Then, so after you pick the contacts, you pick the area, you can choose to copy agent on report. So if you want to be CC'd on every email that goes out, you're going to want to change this copy agent on report to say yes. And then you'll notice it says report enabled, yes or no. If you pick no, that means it's not going to be sending it out. I know that sends, that seems like common sense. I feel like I don't know why they even have that as an option, to be honest. However, that is there. Make sure it's so it says report enabled, yes, for every single report you're going to be saying out. And I prefer to be copied on every report, so I would change this copy agent on a report to say yes. You can also set up your subject lines. So, you can say quarterly report. I would maybe say, quarterly report for Riverside County. Now, like I said, this is going to go out on the 15th day of the quarter of the start of a new quarter. So the next one that will go out automatically will be on April 15th, thereabouts. So, but if I set somebody up now, when I hit save and send, it will send out the report right away, regardless of what day of the quarter it is or what day of the month it is. It's going to send it out immediately as soon as you hit save and send. And then, like I said, at the start of each quarter, then it will send it out automatically. So Krista, where do you click to send it out automatically? So once you actually fill out this option on the new quarterly report, you're just going to hit the save and send button, and it will start going out automatically at that point. Like I said, once you hit save and send, it will initially send out that first report right away. Does not matter what day of the month or the quarter it is, it will go out immediately. And that's it. So the quarterly report's probably the easiest one to set up because it only has a couple counties for you to pick from. So it's a good one to start learning how to use it, what to do. So now I'm going to go a little bit one step more specific here. Okay, we're going to go to the area reports. So the area reports are the same thing as the quarterly report in that it has some pre-selected content. But this is going to be based on city. So Janie, you were asking about, how can I do a report for a specific city? That's going to be our area reports here. The cool thing about the area reports, it's not once a quarter, it's once a month. So it's going to go out once a month automatically to those contacts you set up on there. So, and it's going to go out usually on the 8th day of the month. This last month, it came on the 6th for me, which was cool. But usually it's about the 8th of the month that it goes out with the previous month's information. So now if I go here to the preview and share button again, I just want to show you, it pulls in all of the cities that you have, how we have the different counties. it pulls in all the cities. So we have like 300, I have 387 cities I can send out information on. How accurate are these reports? So these reports pull all the data from the MLS automatically. So it's not, if it's in the MLS, it will show up in here. And in fact, you'll see in the next step here, we actually have MLS data in our market reports, which are coming up. So it just literally takes the information from the MLS automatically. It's not like there's somebody running the numbers and doing that. It's completely automatic. So like I said, it pulls in all these cities for the area reports automatically. So if I wanted to do here, Canyon Lake, you can see Canyon Lakes right here. I can just click on the preview and it has the Canyon Lake report right here, ready to go. And then it has some of the same stats that you saw on the other one, but it's specific to Canyon Lake. So the number of sales went up by 89% from January 2020 to January 2021. The new listings were down. The average days on market went from 84 down to 18, and our sales prices went up, 10 to 13% over on a year-to-year basis. So what it does is the area reports are going to compare that month of that year compared to that month of the previous year. So the one that went out in February is comparing January 2021 to January 2020. The one that goes out in March will compare February 2021 to February 2020. So, and then it has a full report showing the number of units, days on market, list of sold price ratios, and it's got charts to accompany it, lots of charts to accompany it. And it has a month supply of inventory chart, which I know a lot of, when you're talking about real estate economists and what's going on in the market and stuff, this is a pretty important chart to check out. So it has all of it in here, like I said, automatically generated every single month, right around the 8th day of the month. And same thing, I can click on, I have that permanent URL to go to it for that city. Like I said, that link is branded to you. It's gonna have your information in it. And then once again, there's the share button. If I click on the share button, if I wanted to share this right now, I can just click on share to Facebook. Boom, it's going to post it to Facebook for me once I compose my post. So it's pretty, and like I said, you have this permanent link here. So if I copied this link, opened it up in a new tab here, you can see I have this all ready to go. So like I said, there's 300. Now you'll notice for some of the cities, it will have a designation too to compare, like Buena Park here, just because it's on the screen. You'll notice there's Buena Park condominiums, and Buena Park single family homes. So in cities that do have condos in them, condos and townhomes, those will go under the condominiums. You can get the stats for just condominiums and just single family homes, or the one that does not have a designation for it is going to be all property types. For homes. So it doesn't matter whether it's a condo or a single family at that point. So now if I wanted to set somebody up on one, you'll notice I can hit the browse button here to come back, just like on the quarterly reports. I set it up the exact same way. So I go to the area reports, I make sure I've selected this browse tab here. I click the new button. I give it a name, sample. I pick the contacts I want to send it to. This works the exact same way as the quarterly reports. But then when I'm picking market areas, when I hit browse, instead of having the list of counties that are available for me, I have a list of cities that are available for me. So if I wanted to set myself up on the Canyon Lake one, for example, I just check Canyon Lake. I press OK. But let's say I also wanted to include, you have some people who own properties in multiple cities. So if I owned a property in Aliso Viejo also, I could do that. So I could send out multiple cities at the same time to somebody. So like I said, if you have somebody who owns multiple properties, so you want to keep them updated on what's going on in each of those cities, you can do that. And then same thing, I can choose to copy the agent on the report. I want my report enabled, right? We don't want to have it disabled from the beginning. We want to have it enabled, put in our subject line, so what it's going to say. And then I hit save and send, and it's done. So that initial one will go out right away with what's the previous month's stats. So in this case, it will send out the January 2021. And then on or around March 8th, it will send out my stats for February 2021. And then on all of these, you can click on the preview button here. and you can see what the report looks like. So you'll notice when I actually send the reports to the clients, the preview one that went on social media, you'll notice it didn't have any text in here, but the email that goes out does have text here. And then there's also a link to convert the report to a PDF, view in a browser, share to social media, contact me. So when this goes out to somebody, if they want to reply to you and they don't just hit the reply on their email, of course, they can actually hit the contact me to fill out a contact form, or they can also forward it to a friend. And if they forward it to a friend, it keeps all your information in there. So they know who it came from. So your clients can spread your name via word of mouth too. So now that we went through the quarterly and area reports, does that make sense to everybody? Do we have any questions on those? Because the next thing I'm gonna go to is the market reports, which do have a little bit more steps to them. So I just wanna make sure we're good at where we're at before I move on to the next step. Let's give it just a second to see if we have any questions. You guys can also unmute yourselves too if you have questions at any point. So, all right, well, I'm going to keep moving then, but so now we're going to go on to the market reports. So like I said, we covered quarterly and area reports. So that's your county reports, your city reports. But let's say you want to do something a little more custom. You want to go send out a report on a very specific neighborhood. That's what our market reports are. So market reports are fully customizable reports that are for a specific market. That could be a zip code, it could be a neighborhood, it could be, you know, properties over 3,000 square feet in Temecula with a pool. You know, you could go like that. You can actually put in MLS criteria here, whereas the other ones are auto-generated. These ones are based on the criteria that you as the agent set up. So like, for example, here, I'm going to show you my sample one that I've done in the set up for myself. Let me click on a report preview button here. So this is one that I set up for myself for Four Seasons Marietta, which is a community that I do a lot of work in. So you can see when I go through this report, right, it says, hey, here's the market snapshot of what's going on in Four Seasons. Here's the for sale data, you know, here's the pending data, off market, so your canceled and expired, if you choose to include that, and your sold data. And it shows you, you know, little icons on a map. It even says you can choose, and I'll show you where you do this. You can actually show what the automated market value of, you know, the average price points of the properties in the community. And then you can see the very specific market data on what's going on within that neighborhood. You can see days on market, and then for sale data. So you'll see it has all these MLS numbers listed, with all these properties, right? And as I keep scrolling, I can actually see pictures. So I could actually click on this one on Mondavi Circle. And if I click on it, it actually opens up like a property flyer, so to speak, with all the MLS pictures. So I could actually click on it, see all the pictures on the MLS, and you'll notice it's got the Coldwell Banker branding on it, so it doesn't matter who has this listing. You know, it's all MLS compliant, but everything on it is branded to you. So that's really cool that you get these, you know, PDF style one-page flyers for each property, almost like you were printing off a one-pager off the MLS. So, and like I said, this is accurate from the MLS. If it's on the MLS, it's on here. So I think that's pretty cool. So let me show you now how to set one of these guys up. This is definitely the most complicated thing to do in Prospect Square, but it's just like running an MLS search. So if I click on our new button here, right, I'm going to make a new report. I'm going to give it a name. I'm just going to call it sample. And then you'll notice before it just had contacts or as the next option, but here we have criteria. So when I click on this criteria box, it opens up a window that says new search criteria. Now there are two ways you can do your search. The first is by a radius, or like, you know, within an area around there. You can also, so you could say, you know, oh, I want to be within, you know, half a mile of this house. You know, that's the easy way of doing it, right? I want to point out though, before we go any farther, at the top here, you'll notice it says claw. Claw is one of the MLSs that fades into here. You're going to want to click the drop down and pick CRMLS. If you don't pick CRMLS, it's not going to pull in the CRMLS data. So please make sure always when you're setting up a market report, the first thing you do is change this drop down to say CRMLS. Otherwise, your search won't work very well. So like I said, I can run this. I can say, do a radius around this city, and then you can pick which status types you want to be in there. So, active, active under contract. You could even do active within the last 7 days. Sold, closed. You can pick how many days back you want to go. You can even pick certain closed prices. So if you only wanted to show stuff in the 500,000s, you could say between 500,000 and 599. Same thing. You could show off markets, canceled, expires, hold, withdrawns. I may not want to include that, so I'll uncheck that. Pendings, how far back, and then you can, like I said, you can filter by list price, property types, high school, schools. You can do it based on beds, baths, square footage, lot size, whether it has a pool. I mean, you can get really, really specific on your criteria. But just like running an MLS search, it's only as good as the criteria that the listing agent puts in. So if you get too specific, you may exclude some results, right? So the big one I want to show, though, is how to do the map search. Because their map search, there's a couple little things I want to show within it here. When you click on the map search tab, so you can run the search, like I said, by like radius, around a certain home, a certain property, or you can actually draw a map. Now you notice when I click over to map search here, there's another drop down here that says claw that I need to change to say CRMLS. So don't forget, always, 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 when you're doing the market reports, make sure that window says CRMLS before you put in your criteria. Otherwise, you're going to have to go in and redo it all, and that's no fun. Nobody wants to redo anything. So, and then same thing, I can choose which statuses I want to include on the map. So yeah, I want my on markets, I want my sold, closed. I'm going to remove those off market ones, the pendings. I'm not even going to filter based on square footage or anything like that. Now you'll notice this box kind of takes over our entire screen here. If you click OK, it's going to save that criteria you just put in. We don't want to do that because we need to draw our map here. So I'm going to click on the right-hand side. There's this little up arrow that shrinks our box. Okay, so click on the up arrow to shrink the box. And then I can control the map just like you're kind of used to doing on a map search on CRMLS. Okay, I can even change it to be a satellite view. I find that easier when trying to find the boundaries of a neighborhood if you're going neighborhood specific. And I can just go ahead and zoom in. I'm going to pick a very specific neighborhood, that Four Seasons Murrieta neighborhood again, because I know exactly where the boundaries are because it is one giant rectangle. So it's very easy to use as a class example here. This is the one thing I've noticed in here compared to searching on the MLS. Once you start to draw your shape, you cannot pan the screen around or anything like that. You have to keep the screen locked in place while you're drawing your map. Is the one drawback to the way their system works. So just be aware, make sure you have the zoom and it's centered on your screen and stuff in a way that you can get the whole shape drawn at once. And then you'll notice there's an option to do a rectangle, a circle, or draw a polygon. So just draw any shape. So I'm going to do the polygon search here. And then I just like on the MLS, I just click the starting point and then draw the edges of my map. I didn't go far enough down there.
Michael?
Yes.
Can you clear it and start over again? Because I do that all the time.
Yes, you can clear it. You'll notice at the top of the screen, there is a reset button.
Where is that?
At the top of the screen here, there's a reset button. So if you don't draw good, you can just hit the reset and it will start you over. So
okay, thank you.
So you'll notice now that I drew my box and completed it, it even shows me about how many listings are populating in here. See, it says 1 to 24 of 24. So there's 24 that meet this criteria. And then I just click on the OK button. Once I've set in all my criteria I want to use, and then you'll notice it takes me back to my setup report screen. And it has all that criteria in there based on what I programmed in. And then filling it out now is just like doing the other reports, the quarterly report and the area report. I can pick my contacts I want to send it to. So I want this one to go to myself. Display title. So you'll notice I moused over the question mark to show you what it is at the very top of the report. You can give it a title. So I could say, hey, 4 seasons.
Hey, Michael.
Yes.
So mine's interesting because my farm is pretty small.
Yes.
And it states your search has returned less than the allowed minimum limit of 5 properties for this report. Please modify your search criteria to increase the number of properties. So if there's not enough data, it's not going to generate a report. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I mean, maybe did you have like active, pending, and sold in there going back 180 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know we've had more. Well, if we're lucky, we've had probably 6 in the past 5 months.
Yeah. So you may just want to increase the area just around it a little bit then. I didn't know there was a minimum of 5. I thought it would do it, but I didn't think there'd be neighborhoods that have that few sales recently, which is surprising in this market. So,
okay.
So you may just have to finagle it a little bit to get more. You may maybe just increasing it then from 180 days back to
more. Okay.
To more will populate it then. So
how do I do that? How do I go back and change the criteria?
So wait, when I go back,
never mind. I see it. Just the 2 little drop down arrows.
Yep. You got it. So, but that's a great question and a great point. Thank you for bringing that up because I'm sure somebody else would run into that at some point. So, okay. So like I said, I picked my contacts. I give it a title for the report. I pick out how often I want it to email out. So you could say, every day, every 7 days, 14, 21, 28, 30, 60, 90, or once a quarter. So I put this one on once a week just for a sample. And then consumer type. So you can say whether it's designed for a buyer, a seller, a prospect, or an investor. And it does change the language of what goes into the email. So in this case, if I was going to be doing a report like this, it's probably going to be for people in that neighborhood. So people who I think are going to sell at some point. So I'm going to set it up for seller. Copy agent on report. Yeah, like I said, I like to be CC'd on all the emails that go out so I know what went out if somebody calls me. Maximum number of listings per email. So if you're doing a pretty broad area, I mean, let's say you're doing, within a 3-mile radius of a house, and there could be hundreds of listings. You can set a cap of how many listings are going out in that email. When you're going down to specific neighborhoods, 100 is going to be way more than enough, I believe. But if you're doing something larger like Olive Canyon Lake with MLS data, yeah, you're going to have to set a cap on that. And then you can say, remember I showed you there was a spot where I can say the automated market value, saying about what the properties are worth in that within that neighborhood. You can choose to show that, or it says hide automated market values. If it says yes, that line will not show up on the report. If it says no, then that line will show up on the report. Now, the other option that this has compared to the other reports is it has a report expiration. So you could say, hey, so I'm going to send this out every 7 days, but I only want this to go out for the next 6 months, right? To see what my response has been before I continue it. Something like that. You can limit how long it goes. They recommend that you set a report expiration for every report. Otherwise, it will continue for infinity, I guess, or until the program doesn't exist 25 years from now. I don't know, what that plan is, but they do say, hey, we recommend setting a report end date on it so it doesn't go out forever and ever and ever. Same thing, you could put your subject lines for your emails, and then there's a description. So you could even say in the description, all 4 seasons properties listed and sold in last 6 months. And then same thing, I can hit save and send, and it's going to go out right away. And then as opposed to the other reports, it's going at that frequency that I choose. So these are your fully customizable reports.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Krista.
Hi, thank you. Okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So as to not overwhelm people with stuff. What do you suggest, or if anybody on this call like Janie that's experienced, what do you suggest for sending reports out? Because I've had people say, please stop sending so much information. And how do you decide personally? For instance, do you send all your clients all 3 reports? How do you, I'm more interested in targeting the marketing. The reports are fabulous, but I don't want to overwhelm my clients so that they stop opening my emails. Thank you.
I think, and I'd love to see people chime in the chat here with some their suggestions. I would not send it a report every day. Because if I was going to be sending something every day, that'd be probably for a buyer saying what's going on in the community, in which case I'm probably just going to be doing it through the MLS directly through auto emails, right? I think every 7 days may be a lot, just depending on the neighborhood. But some neighborhoods the activity is moving fast enough right now that you may want to send it every 7 days. But I'd imagine, for a lot of them, maybe every 14, 21, 28 days, something like that.
I'm thinking,
Jane?
honestly, I'll be honest, I haven't done this on a consistent basis of sending reports via email. I'm first going to try it. I'm not going to send it. I don't even think I'm going to send it every month. I might, maybe I'll send it either. I have to make a decision. I'm either only going to send it once a month for right now, because I send other things to them, or once a quarter, because I know that all the reports I get, I don't even look at them. I mean, I'm sure we are all bombarded. And you know what? They're actually interesting reports that we get, but who has time? So I don't look at them. I figure they're not going to look at mine either. So maybe if I send it once a quarter or once a month, they will find it valuable enough to open. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Which one will you send, Janie? Which one? That's the question. Which one would you send? Would you once a month?
Oh, I think, well, my goal is I want to send specific to that client's neighborhood. That's what my goal is.
Okay.
So I think I might send, like, maybe I'm thinking a city report maybe every quarter, and then maybe a specific neighborhood report maybe once a month. Maybe, we'll see. I don't know. It's gonna be trial and error for me also.
I think a lot of it too is going to be based on your clients and your database needs. Because I'm thinking there are clients I know are getting ready to sell. They're not ready there yet. So especially with the market it is, they might get it every 14 days. People who just sold, I think I'm going to send it to them quarterly, so they just know what their property's doing. And then people that are on the fence, maybe I'd send it monthly. But yeah, I think it's trial and error. And I do like maybe just to your database, sending that quarterly report just sparks interest, because that's only going out quarterly.
Yeah, so like I'm gonna use Dana. I know Dana's not on the call for an example. I mean, I know usually like twice a year they send out CMAs to their clients. They're doing it twice a year for that, and they get some pretty good success out of it. So, I mean, but the most infrequent you can do is once a quarter. So that'd be 4 times a year still, which is still a lot of times to be giving them that data if they're not going to be selling anytime soon, like Denise said. So,
Michael, what have you had success with in 4 Seasons, please?
Well, so in 4 Seasons, we were doing physical newsletters about every 2 months with this kind of data in it. Obviously, the email program and stuff that we haven't set that up yet because for everybody, because we don't have everybody's emails yet. So we're trying to work on that. But then again, being a senior community, also not everybody looks at their emails. So knowing
challenging.
Yeah, so we're just hoping we can start delivering newsletters again sometime soon. Once hopefully, the pandemic calms down a little bit more and we can start doing some more, at least door-to-door drop-off newsletters. That's what we're hoping for right now.
Thank you.
So on that note, I thought that was a great discussion. And I loved everybody's feedback on that. That is how you set up a market report. So like I said, we have our quarterly reports. That's once a quarter on a county by county level. We have our area reports, which is once a month on a city by city level. And then the market reports is any kind of custom report whatsoever.
Michael, I'm sorry to
Yes.
interrupt. I have a
Yes.
question. When we're talking about CLAW and we change for CRMLS,
Yes.
does that mean that it's pulling all the CRMLS, but if the property has been sold by an agent who is on CLAW, it's not going to be there?
So I haven't tested that heavily because our area, we don't really have any agents that use Claw to populate it. So I would test it, but it should, if CRMLS has a, what is it?
Oh, and a
Reciprocal
reciprocal.
data agreement, which they have with Claw, it should populate in CRMLS. So
Okay, okay.
I would just double check that. Don't hold me to it, but it
I
should
will,
work.
okay, I'll check it. Thank you.
Now you'll notice that like on this email here that goes out, it has some, there we go. It has like this generic text here that says, here's an updated market report summarizing the area, right? That's boilerplate text. That you cannot change under the area, market, or quarterly report tabs. That you actually change under this report settings tab. So if you want to tweak the boilerplate language that's in there, maybe make it a little more personal, things like that. If I actually go to the report settings, you'll notice that it just says browse, and just the same way I click on new. And when I click on new, it gives me the ability to edit the boilerplate stuff in there, the default image, the text in the intros, all that. That is actually done under this report settings. I personally am fine with what they have there. However, I know some people may want to tweak that or change out the images to something a little more personalized. I'll leave that up to you guys, but you edit it the same way you do with everything else you've seen to edit in here. So it works the same way. Now, I think we're going to run probably about 5 minutes past the hour here. So we have about 10 minutes to go. Before, because I know people are going to start hopping off because we're getting towards the end of the hour. If you do want a copy of this presentation, please shoot me an email would be best. And then this evening I can reply to everybody's emails with a copy of the of this presentation so you can go through it all later. So I just put my email in the chat. So when you're going to sign off, just grab my email, shoot me an email real quick, and I will send you the recording later this evening once it's done being processed.
Michael?
So, yes.
That copy editing, it can be done, but on a generic, very generic, because it goes to everyone, or can that be done with the name of the person we are targeting for that email?
It's gonna be for all the reports of that.
Okay,
type.
okay,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Great question, though. Great question. So like I said, shoot me an email. I'll send you a copy of the recording. And like I said, we're probably going to go till about 1:05, 1:10 here. So I know a couple of you might pop off here in just a second.
Michael,
Yes.
when I went into report settings, as you just were suggesting, to change the text a little bit,
Yes.
when I hit save, it's asking me to rename it. It's save, and then there's a red text box around at the very top. It says, yeah, what am I naming it? Why am I renaming it?
Because maybe you would want to have, maybe you would have a couple different templates that you switch between over time, with the images and things like that. So you could set up multiples for the future. I can't see a world where I do that personally, but like I said, I'm fine with what they already have in there. So.
But I thought changing the text applied that to all of your reports.
Yes. Yeah, because there's
So
there's the box that says active report settings, and when you say yes, active report settings, it will change all the active ones. So
active report settings, yes. Okay, so what do you recommend put in this name box? Because you can't save it unless you put something in there. But why would you rename it if it's applying it as a blanket to every single report?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure, so I just give it a name, just saying, Deanna's report settings.
Okay, thank you.
And that's fine. Yeah, I would say don't overthink that. I'm not the one who made the program.
Girl with that statement. Okay.
I know. But they do have an analytics tab, by the way, that you can get analytics. So if you want to see your open rate, your unsubscribe rate, those click-through rates, things like that, that is under the analytics tab. I'm not going to click on it because it does take a couple minutes to load. And a lot of my reports are samples of myself clicking on a bunch of things. So it's not very accurate analytics. But I just know from past emails and stuff that have been sent out with other people, if you get like above a 10% open rate, that's fantastic. So don't expect to get 100% open rate. And if you manage to get 100% open rate, congratulations, you've just made the best email marketing campaign of all time. So like I said, 10% is very good. So that's speaking from experience on it. And then the next tab down, the one that says the update reports, that's not a feature that we have enabled yet, so we can't do anything with it, but it is something that they are building currently. So just ignore that tab for now, and once there's something there, we will offer some training on it. The next one down is property emails. So you can actually send out an individual property through here. Now you're probably like, okay, well, why would I want to do that, right? So you can see, I'm going to use this one as an example here. I'm going to click on the preview button. So you could have this, where it's basically just a single property flyer that goes out on a property. So let's say it's your new listing, Janie, you just went and took a new listing and you want to just blast it out to your database, and your database is all saved in here. You could just build an email through here, send it out with MLS photos, MLS information, and it's branded to you. So that is a great way just to send out an email blast for your property. Or, it doesn't necessarily have to be your property, although I would, before sending out mass emails of somebody else's property, may want to talk to the listing agent first if it's not an in-company listing, just out of courtesy. That's my opinion on it. Better, I know some people say it's better to ask forgiveness than permission, but I would at least give that courtesy. And most agents out there, in my experience, would say, yeah, go ahead and market my property, it's fine. But some people don't like that as much. But I go here to the property emails, create emails. That's how I make one. And then it's kind of the same thing. I have to say CRMLS again, not CLAW. And I could do, within a radius of, I'm gonna pick on that California. Let's say I want to do within a half mile of this property address. And I want everything that's on the market, sold, closed, pending. So you have to put in your criteria, just like we did on the market reports. And I can pick, like I said, lot size, beds, baths, square footage. I can filter it that way. Or if I just have an MLS number, I can just copy and paste the MLS number in. So if it's my specific listing, I'll already have the MLS number from the MLS, but I can click on search. And let's just say I want to send out, sure, this one here that's sold 369 Barringer Drive. So I just check the box next to the one I want to send. I click on create emails. And then it gives me templates. So you can see that there's 3 single agent templates, 3 co-list templates. So if you have a business partner or anything like that you want to include, you can do the co-list. Then they have some global luxury templates that work the same way, and both of them offer the option for the virtual open house. So if any of you are doing virtual open houses, you can set up a virtual open house email blast to go out to your clientele. So I'm just going to pick on the first template here. I click on generate, and then you just edit what's on the screen here. So this one, of course, I picked a listing that only has one photo on the MLS, go figure. However, normally it will have all the photos that are available on the MLS to include in there. And then you can edit the text from the description. You can pick the photos you want to use. You edit it however you want. Then I click edit and continue. And then I give it a subject, and I build it this email just the same way I was doing with the reports. I give it a subject. I pick the contacts I want to send them to. If there's a property website for it, I can do it. I can edit it even more if I suddenly realize a change I want to make. Boom. Then once I'm good, I hit send. It just sends out that one property.
Michael, can these flyers, I see someone else asking too, can they be shared on Instagram or Facebook?
So you see that on Instagram, you can't share links, right? You have to put them in your bio, but for Facebook, so if I do this, I hit edit and continue, right? You'll notice, see how it says at the very top of it, it says can't see this email, and I can click on view in a browser, right? If I do that, that's not a good example because I'm still in editing mode, right? But if I sent it out, see how it says view in a browser at the top? Let me go to one that I have done here, actually. Okay, so see how it says can't see this email, and I click on view in a browser here? Hopefully it works. Oh, it's not gonna load here. But when it goes out to, if you email it to yourself, when it says view in a browser, I could just take that link that link once it's opened up in my web browser, then copy and paste that link in the address bar at the top and use that as my social media post. So that is a way that you can do it. So they don't have a direct social media share for an individual property in here. I wish they did. That'd be a great feature for them to add. But like I said, this is a way that you can just email. It's originally designed just to email out one property to your database that's stored in here. But that is a good question. That's the best way I figured out how to do it, is to take that view in a browser link and send it. Okay, let's try to see if I could get it to work here without having to go back through my emails for the email. So the last thing here that they added in since the launch is they have this button that says Marketing Center. When I click on Marketing Center here, this is actually if you just wanted to send out things that are not MLS data, not property data, you want to send out just like an email drip campaign, you can actually build them through Prospect Square. And they do have a campaign library. So if I go to campaign library here, you can see like they have a seller campaign, a buyer campaign, a holiday campaign, energy saving tips. If I click on it, I can see what's in here, what it looks like. So here's my energy savings saving tips one. And if I wanted to send it to people, I could just click, oh, I want to send out this energy savings tip. I can click on add to my campaign, and then pick, the contact groups to send it to and send it out that way. It feels pretty much like, I'm not trying to cut anybody short here, it feels just like setting up a campaign in other CRM systems. But I just wanted you guys to know this is here so you can send out campaigns to.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What you just said right now, I was on the Zoom yesterday and we did it through the mortgaging, and she mentioned about campaigns like sending out things, through that. So this is similar to that, because that's kind of an area that I thought really sparked my attention. That as a new agent, I'm totally new, but I thought, if you send out information, because people love to read things, and that's kind of what I feel like I wanted to go in that venue. But if it's through mortgaging the same way, this is exactly similar to that.
Yeah, it's going to be similar. So there's this, there's like Sherry taught you yesterday. There's the ones that they have. I don't think I'd say just pick a system and use it when it comes to these kind of emails. I wouldn't want to double up across multiple systems too much, because then you risk multiple things being sent on the same day or conflicting, information and stuff like that. So
okay.
I'd just pick one system and go with it. Look through it. Except a lot of people may already have these things set up in for our experienced agents here, you may already have this set up in a different system. Like I already have these set up through Elevated Network, so I'm not going to be using the ones they have here. But for those of you who don't have a paid CRM that want to be sending out these kind of emails, this is a great way to be doing them too. So
yeah, because that's kind of like, like you said, yesterday I learned that, and this I'm learning this. So it's kind of what fits my personality. Is that what you're saying? Kind of like what fits my personality.
Yeah, fits your style.
Okay.
just, I'd say take a look at both. Maybe even send a couple, campaigns to yourself.
Right.
That's what I do with everything. I test everything on myself, so I can see what it's like from the consumer point of view. And I'm not just talking about in emails that are going out. I mean, I'm talking about when I first started as an agent, I set myself contracts for digital signatures so I know what my clients would be experiencing when they're going to DocuSign things, things like that. I always test things on myself. So I'd recommend the same thing when it comes to these. Test it on yourself, see if you like the format of it or the format of another one, but know that this is a tool that is available at your disposal.
Hey, Michael, it's Deanna again. Sorry.
Yes.
Hey,
Yeah.
so under these campaigns, there's that seasonal 2021 seasonal holiday one. It's similar to what you had taught us on the other
Yes.
CB whatever platform.
Yes.
But when you're going to add people, you can only add a group. Are you familiar with that?
So they literally just added this feature in like end of last month. So
Okay.
Yeah, it says contact groups there. So you would have to have a group.
So you all know you have to establish groups to put them into the campaigns. You can't select individual contacts.
Good to know. Thank you for pointing that out. So
sorry.
I appreciate it. Dan, can it send text messages? No, Prospect Square does not have text message features. But like Krista was saying, you could send it out through Hit 'em Up or elevated texting, things like that for the links to things. But no, they don't have text campaigns built in here. So it's just everything they do here is email driven. But that is going to be it for Prospect Square. Like I said, if you want a copy of the recording, please shoot me an email because I know we covered a lot of stuff and we took just over an hour to do all of it. So shoot me an email. I'll send out the recording this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming. Any other questions before we wrap it up here? Derek, no, for our company, we don't have LA County in there. That's that you would have to request through the Coldwell Banker Help Desk, and maybe they have the ability to add it in here. So reach out to the help desk and hopefully they can help add in counties. I don't know for the other brokerages that were on the call. I don't know what counties are available to you for the quarterly reports. So, yep. Thanks everybody for coming. Last call for questions before we wrap it up here. Going once. Going.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your day and good rest of your week. Take care.
Thank you, Mike.